Respect isn't something you demand, buy, or superficially display. It is earned. Quietly, deeply, and profoundly. In today's fast-paced, noisy world, commanding genuine respect is increasingly rare, yet more necessary than ever. We often mistake respect for status, power, or popularity. But true respect transcends these. It is a recognition of integrity, of inner strength, of character, that others sense intuitively, even before you say a word. Pause and reflect. In a world chasing noise, stillness speaks volumes. For thousands of years, Stoic philosophers have understood a timeless truth, that respect flows from mastery over oneself. It doesn't depend on applause or circumstance. It doesn't chase approval. It emerges from a life lived with wisdom, discipline, purpose. The Stoics taught us to focus on what lies within our control, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and to meet life's trials with calm resolve and clear intention. This inner strength radiates outward. It doesn't ask for respect, it commands it, silently. Think for a moment about someone who carried themselves with quiet authority, a presence that made others lean in, not through volume or bravado, but through grounded composure, a person who said little but spoke volumes simply by being. That is the kind of respect we all want to cultivate, and it begins within, not with noise, but with stillness. Not with force, but with intention. If you felt overlooked, dismissed, if you're tired of shouting into the void only to be ignored, know this: respect begins inside you. When you master your emotions, speak with purpose, and live true to your values, you become a force that cannot be ignored. Subscribe to Beyond the Vision Mindset for insights that help you unlock your inner power and command respect in every arena of life. Start this journey today. 1. Master your emotions. The foundation of real respect. Emotions are the silent architects shaping every interaction, every decision, every chapter of your story. When left unchecked, they become storms, clouding judgment, severing trust, dismantling the very respect we strive for. Yet most people live at their mercy. They react, they lash out, they let frustration, anger, or fear steer the wheel. And in doing so, they erode the very presence they hope to project. I remember vividly a time early in my career. I had been thrust into leadership, overseeing a high-stakes project. The pressure was relentless, tight deadlines, clashing personalities, the constant drumbeat of expectations. In the heat of it all, I let small setbacks pull me off center. I snapped, I complained, I withdrew. In those moments, it felt like I was asserting control, but I wasn't. I was feeding chaos, not calming it. People began avoiding me. The team grew quiet. The room lost its energy. Respect began to fade. That chapter forced a reckoning, a choice. I came to understand, true strength isn't loud. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't demand attention. It is the calm in the storm, not the fire that feeds it. The Stoics remind us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Setbacks are neutral. Criticism is data. The real turmoil comes from how we choose to interpret and respond. So I began a different practice. I paused. I breathed. When emotions swelled, I asked, what serves this moment? What outcome do I want to create, not just react to? Slowly, the space between stimulus and response widened. I no longer snapped. I reflected. I didn't suppress emotions. I guided them. And in that guidance, I found my power. One defining moment stands out. In a pivotal meeting, a teammate challenged a proposal I had championed. The old me would have fired back, taken it personally. But this time, I listened. I truly listened. I acknowledged their perspective. I asked thoughtful questions. And slowly, the tension dissolved. The room shifted from confrontation to collaboration. That day marked a turning point, not only in that project, but in how others saw me. I became a steady anchor, not perfect, but present and grounded. And that, my friend, is when respect began to return. When you master your emotions, you send a message to yourself and to the world. I can be trusted. I will not unravel under fire. I will not lose myself to impulse. And that is rare. That is respect. But mastery is not a finish line. It is a discipline, a daily return to awareness. Some days, emotions will rise like waves, but even then, you return. You remember, I have the power to choose my response. So I ask you, quietly and honestly, how often do emotions dictate your choices? What would shift if instead of reacting, you responded? What relationships would heal? What doors would open? What strength would you unlock if you became the stillness in your own storm? This is the first step to commanding respect. Because before you earn the respect of others, you must first, deeply, respectfully, master yourself. 2. Speak with purpose. Words that reflect who you are. Words are not just sounds, they are signals, mirrors of the inner world, carriers of your character. Every sentence you speak reveals something. Every conversation is a reflection of your mindset, your discipline, your values. But too often, we speak without awareness. We talk just to fill silence, to vent, to win, and in doing so, we dilute the power of our voice. And when your words lose weight, so too does the respect others place in them. I remember a time not so long ago. I was carrying a heavy load, pressures at work, turbulence at home, expectations pulling me from every direction. I began using my voice as a release valve. Complaints, sarcasm, frustrations, all flowed freely in the name of honesty. At first it felt real, unfiltered, but over time, I began to notice the cost. People stopped listening. Conversations became repetitive, focused on problems, not solutions. Energy dropped, and something deeper faded too. Respect. That moment brought clarity. I asked myself a question that changed everything. What do I want my words to do? And the answer was clear. I wanted my words to build, not break, to lead, not leak, to reflect the person I was committed to becoming. So, I made a quiet promise to myself. I would speak with purpose. That didn't mean rehearsing every sentence. It meant becoming intentional. It meant asking, does this comment serve the moment? Is it adding clarity or just noise? One meeting stays etched in my memory. A client, disappointed with our progress, arrived ready for confrontation. The room was tense. Old habits urged me to defend, deflect, react. But instead, I paused, I listened. I acknowledged their concern without excuse and calmly guided the conversation toward solutions. The energy shifted almost instantly. The client leaned in. Dialogue replaced defensiveness. And most importantly, trust returned. Not because I had all the answers, but because I spoke with intention. The Stoics remind us, no man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. In other words, truth has power. Honesty, when spoken with clarity and care, resonates more deeply than charm or persuasion ever could. People feel authenticity. They know when words are rooted in conviction, and that resonance becomes respect. But speaking with purpose also means knowing when not to speak. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you pause instead of react, when you listen more than you interrupt, when you give your words space to breathe, you command attention without demanding it. And that is the mark of a grounded voice. So ask yourself, when you speak, do your words build bridges or burn them? Do they offer clarity or confusion? Do they elevate the room or drain it? Because the truth is this, every conversation is a chance to shape your presence. You don't need to be eloquent. You don't need grand speeches. You simply need to speak from alignment with who you are and what you stand for. And when you do, you'll find others listen more carefully, respect more naturally, and follow more willingly. That is the power of purposeful speech. Not loud, not forceful, just steady, truthful, and anchored in principle. Respect that lasts is not built on charisma or convenience. It is forged in the quiet, unseen moments when no one is watching, and the easy thing to do is not the right thing. The Stoics taught us that virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance is the only true good. And when our lives align with those values, we become unshakable. One moment in my life revealed this truth with painful clarity. A friend, loyal, honest, was being unjustly attacked at work. Office politics, gossip, fear. Most people stepped back. Some advised me quietly, stay out of it. It's not your battle. But deep down, I knew the truth. It was my battle. Because values aren't conditional. They're not meant to be spoken when convenient and hidden when tested. They are to be lived. So I chose to act. I didn't shout. I didn't fight. I simply stood beside my friend. I spoke calmly. I addressed facts, not rumors. And I let my actions reflect what I believed. Loyalty matters. Fairness matters. Truth matters. Was it easy? No. Some colleagues pulled away. Some questioned my judgment. But over time, the dust settled, and the respect that remained was deeper than anything a title or speech could have earned. Because respect rooted in values endures. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are. But you do have to return, again and again, to your compass. Epictetus said it simply. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Know who you are, then live like it. That's the test, especially when the stakes are high, especially when standing firm is hard, lonely, costly. But in those moments, your character is carved, and others can see it. They may not say it aloud, but they feel it. They trust you. They respect you, because you have become consistent, anchored, true. Think about those you respect most. Chances are, it's not their success you admire. It's their integrity, their consistency, their quiet courage. So ask yourself, are you living aligned or bending for approval? Have you sacrificed truth for comfort? Now, imagine the opposite. The steady confidence that comes from knowing, no matter the outcome, you stayed true to what matters. That is not just respect. That is inner peace. And in a world spinning with noise and distraction, peace is power. The journey isn't easy. There will be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt. Times when the path of integrity feels lonely and the noise of the world grows louder than your own convictions. But in those moments, you must return inward. That's where your compass lives. That's where your strength lies. That is where respect begins. Because before you can earn the respect of others, you must first master the ability to respect yourself. Not with pride, not with ego, but with quiet certainty that you are living, speaking, and choosing with alignment. And when you do that, when your words reflect your inner truth, when your actions match your values, when your emotions no longer control you, you become something rare. You become a person of inner gravity, someone others lean toward, someone others trust in crisis, someone whose presence carries weight, without ever needing to raise their voice. That kind of respect is not requested. It's not won in arguments. It's not earned through wealth or charisma. It is cultivated over time, through repetition, through discipline, through unwavering purpose. Ask yourself now, what kind of presence do I carry into the room? Do I speak as someone who listens before reacting? Do I live in a way that reflects something deeper than success, something unshakable? You don't need permission to start. You don't need to wait for anyone's approval. The world is already watching, already listening, already sensing who you are beneath the surface. So choose today. Choose to master your emotions. not by denying them, but by understanding them. Choose to speak with intention, not to impress, but to contribute. Choose to live by your values, not when it's easy, but especially when it's not. Because in the end, the respect that truly matters is the kind that follows you even when you're silent. It's in the way people feel when they hear your name. It's in the way you walk through conflict without losing composure. It's in the way you hold yourself when no one's clapping. That is the Stoic path. And while few walk it, those who do become the anchors in a world of drift. So if you're ready to take that step, if you're ready to rise above the noise and claim your place as a person of presence, power, and principle, join us. Subscribe to Beyond the Vision Mindset, a community committed to rising above limitations, to cultivating character, to living with purpose in a world chasing popularity. This isn't motivation. This is a reminder that everything you need is already within you. And respect, it's not given, it's earned. Now begin.